Hello internet, I am Askenda. This video is going to be about me talking about something that I've been living with my whole entire life. Only recently did it start catching up to me. I'm chronically ill. There's a reason why I'm always sick, and there's a reason why I sometimes don't even get to upload videos on YouTube anymore. I ignored it for a majority of my life, and I didn't think it was necessary to take care of myself because this thing is kind of just like, oh, well, I can delay it. I have extremely bad asthma. I have an extremely weak immune system, meaning if I get sick, I'm going to have a lot of lung problems. I can't breathe, but I'm sure if you're like me out there, you probably think that having asthma isn't that bad. There are tons of people in the world who have asthma. Sure, I definitely agree with you. And it's probably the reason why I chose to ignore it for so long and decided to not go without medication, without taking proper precautions in certain situations, without putting my health first, because I'm like, it's just asthma. Many people have it and it can be manageable, whatever. It got really bad recently and worse than it has been in the past 10 years of my lifetime. I'm an adult now and I am responsible for my own health. I'm responsible for me as a being. I ignored my asthma as much as possible. I decided not to use my inhaler. I am not put on a controlled medication. My asthma was not under control. You can argue, well, you can exercise, you can change your eating habits. I've already done that several times in my life. I've changed my eating habits at least 4 times in my life. I've tried substituting stuff. I've tried this, I've tried that, I've tried non-dairy, I've tried being gluten-free, I've tried being on an anti-inflammatory diet, which is what I'm currently on right now. It seems to be the only thing that is helping my asthma. I do exercise. I am walking everywhere right now because I do not have a car and I do not know how to drive. So I'm walking to work sometimes. I know you gotta do more than just walk to be healthy. And I do. I exercise. My weight has also been something that I have struggled with a lot the past 10 years of my life, but that is a separate video. Recently, because of the weather in California with the fires, with me having a weak immune system, my body basically can get sick if it goes from sunny to rainy within the next minutes from each other. My body will get sick because of the air quality in California was so bad with the smoke, the fire, and whatever else was in the air. I, of course, had a terrible breathing reaction to it. And of course, I had to be hospitalized. But when I was hospitalized, my asthma, of course, wasn't acting up. I wasn't in a lot of pain the day I actually went to the hospital, but I begged them when I was in there. I begged them to treat me because I knew that if I were to be sent home and they didn't treat me, like give me or put me on a nebulizer, I was going to suffer more because I've been fighting my asthma and fighting being sick for the last 2 weeks. I also begged them to put me on controlled medication because I said it's not controlled. Given how bad the weather is and given how unpredictable it is, I begged them to please finally put me on controlled medication because I would say the past 2 to 3 years, I've been trying to rough it out. I've been trying to make it pass without having a rescue inhaler, without having any medication to help with my asthma, just really having a plan to prevent me having to be hospitalized or prevent me from passing out because I do not have air circulation in my body. I'm finally being put on steroids to help relax my chest. It's not like the steroids that you take in sports to do better. It's not performance enhancing steroids. They are more like relaxant medications that will help open up my chest, help open up my breathing tubes, and make sure that everything is okay. So I've been on those steroids for about a week now. They have been working. I've had to use my inhaler twice since I've been hospitalized, and that was because I just needed it. That's pretty good for considering how sick I have been. It's easy to ignore our problems, and it's definitely easy to push something aside, especially if it's inconvenient. For me, my asthma is a big inconvenience. It's like, I thought it was something that I could just ignore because it's just asthma, like it'll go away on its own. Because I went so long without having controlled medication or being put on medication at all, my asthma gradually started getting worse. I was coughing a lot at night. I was having a lot of pain in my chest. I didn't like the pain. It was like 3 days straight that I went I didn't like how I was staying up pretty much all night, so I was losing sleep because of my asthma and because I didn't have a rescue inhaler when I needed it or anything that would cause mucus production in my body. I completely cut it out of my diet altogether. Something so small as having asthma, we don't really think that it's anything big. It's only breathing problems. You can't, really control that. I just came to the point where I didn't like being in pain and I was tired of crying at night, tired of feeling this constant pain in my chest and knowing that whatever I did didn't help. I'm glad to say that with my chronic illness, I am getting on the right track, and I also am learning that I can't let this chronic illness stop me. I'm always going to have a weak immune system, no matter how many vitamins I take, no matter if I get a flu shot. I'm always going to be chronically ill. I'm always going to have something illness related wrong my whole entire life. This is something I'm going to live with, and this is something I'm probably going to die with. I came to the point where I can't ignore my illnesses anymore. I came to the point where I needed medical assistance to help with my living, medical assistance to help. This is something that I can't ignore anymore. And even the nurses said that if I were to wait another day, I would have had to been hospitalized for a week because of how low my oxygen levels were getting, how much I push myself, and how much I'm straining myself when I'm at work. I definitely could have gotten into a worse situation than what I was. Despite me being in pain and despite me crying at night and waking up in the morning, telling my mom, telling my family that I can't do this anymore, that I'm done, I'm tired of it. Sometimes it's okay to admit you need help doing something. Sometimes it's okay to admit that you're not strong. You can be knocked down. You're not indestructible. Something I had to come to terms with. For me, I associated wheezing with pain, with discomfort, and I ignore it, of course, but if it's someone else's body, breathe, it's something serious. Because I associated wheezing with discomfort and because I associated it with being a nuisance, I can't stand it. It's because I ignored my own problems, and it's because I didn't seek medical help when I needed it. And these are the kinds of things that we ignore because we think that it's okay to ignore it. That's the world, the society. Ignore something and it'll go away eventually. Out of sight, out of mind type of thing. I just can't believe I let it go on so long without taking care of myself. For the longest time, I would ignore the little signs that my body was giving me. I know that there is something wrong with your body and you keep ignoring it, ignoring it, and ignoring it. This can't continue, Mossy. We have to do something about this. I don't like having obstacles in my way. It's something that I really have to learn to cope with. Here's to taking care of ourselves, paying attention to the signs. No matter how much we try to ignore, it'll definitely come back to bite you in the end. I'm chronically ill. I have an illness that's gonna be with me until I die peacefully. I never thought that having asthma extremely bad would lead to something worse in the future. Even if your family's not supportive of your decision regarding your health or anything emotional, it's okay. You have to do things that are right for you. If you have something that you've been putting off and you have something you've been ignoring, my suggestion is don't. Take care of it as soon as you can. Take care of yourselves. I will talk to you as soon as I can. Bye!